All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us tonight the Board of Select Persons. Jean Gervais, the chairperson in the middle, Greg Manning's over there, Heather McElroy to my left, Pierre Gervais, and Michael Testu. Teresa de Bonville here is taking the minutes, and Mike over there has got us on the film for posterity and those who can't be here. Same rules apply that we spoke about earlier, and Tara will be running around with a microphone, handing it to people who want to comment, and also Mike will be assisting in that regard. We'll begin with the boring warning for tomorrow. Legal voters of the town of Brighton and the Brighton water system are hereby warned and notified to meet over here at the town hall, 49 Mill Street Extension, March 4th, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. to transact the following business by Australian or paper ballot. To elect the following town and water system officers, 2 select board members, each for 1 year, 1 select board person for 3 years, 1 delinquent tax collector for a 1-year term, 3 listers for 3-year terms, 1 auditor for a 3-year term, 2 library trustees for 5 years each, 2 cemetery commissioners for 3-year terms, and 1 water commissioner for a 2-year term. Finally, an additional water commissioner for a 3-year term. Also to elect the school district officers, including a director for a 2-year term and an additional director for a 3-year term, and then 1 North Country Union District director for a 3-year term. The item 4 we've taken care of. Item 5, to hear the reports of the town officers for the past year and take action thereon. Those reports include things in the paperwork that you have, like the Brighton Recreation Report, the Economic Development Report, the Water Equipment Report, sewer sludge, that kind of stuff. Anybody has any questions of those individual boards, we can answer those now, or try to have those answered. Not seeing much activity on those questions. We'll move over to item 6, to hear the report of the water commissioners for the past year. Any water commissioners want to say anything? Any questions of the water commissioners? Not seeing any. The water here is pretty good, I think, actually, compared to most towns that I've been in and countries. Item 7, to see if the voters shall fix the number of installments and the payment due dates for the collection of taxes as authorized in 32 Vermont statutes annotated, section 4872. As usual, the recommended payments due August 19, September 19, and November 19. Anybody move that to the floor? Moved by Craig Gillette for discussion, seconded by Jim Webb. All those in favor of item 7 signify by saying aye. Those opposed? 7 passes. All right, number 8, to see if the voters shall authorize collection of the 2025 taxes through the treasurer as provided by 32 Vermont statutes annotated 4792 and 4793. Anybody move that to the floor for discussion? Jim Webb moves it. Mark Valencourt seconds that motion. That is a standard item here. Yes, Kathy Nelson, yeah. Yeah, who is the treasurer? Teresa apparently is the treasurer. Any other questions on that item? Seeing none, all those in favor of item 8 signify by saying aye. Those opposed? 8 carries by voice vote. Item 9, to see if the voters shall appropriate $1,200 to Green Mountain Farm to School Incorporated, presumably a nonprofit that provides vegetables to the kids or something. Anybody move that to the floor? Mark Valencourt, seconded by Craig Gillette. Discussion on a $1,200 allocation to Green Mountain Farm to School. Anybody have comments on that? Questions? opinions? Yes. Does it go to the Brighton school or does it go to Charleston, you mean, or other places?
So that's very sensitive. So I did reach out to them and it goes into their programming in general. It doesn't directly come back into this town.
It goes where?
It goes into their like Northeast Kingdom wide programming and then they use some of that money back here. It doesn't necessarily dollar for dollar go back into this town.
But what do they do for the town of Brighton?
They advised that they did some of the cooking programs through the school. They provided some meals to some of the residents at Sunrise Manor, and they do allow Brighton residents to access the lunchbox program that is located in other towns.
So there is a benefit to the taxpayers. Yes. Excuse me? Melinda? Yep.
I just can comment on the program that they did at Sunrise Manor. I know that it was part of their Encore program, so the school does an Encore program, and they had kids cooking these meals, and they provided meals to every single one of our residents that wanted one, and they also had extra meals that they would hand out as well. And so the kids got to learn to cook some meals, and it was very well received by the residents.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Gina.
When I worked at the school, the children really loved when Green Mountain came in. They would take the classes individually and teach them about new vegetables, fruits, new recipes they might not learn at home. It really was a blessing at the school.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a vote then on item 9 to appropriate $1,200 to Green Mountain Farm to School. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Item 10, shall the town of Brighton rescind the town manager form of governance in accord with the provisions of Chapter 37 of 24 VSA of the Vermont statutes annotated. Again, shall the town of Brighton rescind the town manager form of governance? Anybody move that to the floor? Mark Valencourt, any second on that? Seconded by Mr. Webb. All right, discussion. Obviously, this is a big one to get rid of the form of town manager. Now, I suppose the question would be, what does that mean to the select board to try to answer it? No, I think we should explain what that means.
So the town manager, of course, manages the town, and without one, we are the ones doing the job. I'm not sure any of us are qualified or have the time to do that. So that's where, that's.
All right, so the option then is to have no town manager, just the selectmen run the town.
Right.
Okay, any comments on that?
Just let me add a little bit more here. So I looked it up, and when I first got on the board last year, there was a legal, the Vermont state lawyer came in and spoke to the board and the town manager at the time and laid out the responsibilities, the duties and responsibilities of what a town manager, once you've adopted it as a town, what the town manager is responsible for and what the select board is responsible for. And in easiest terms, the way to look at it is we as a select board become more an advisory board, and the town manager becomes a CEO. And the CEO of a corporation basically is responsible, not the operations. Okay, that's a little bit different, but the town manager form, he's responsible for, he or she is responsible for the day-to-day management of the town. Okay. And when you look at a town, even a small town like Island Pond, okay, there are several duties and responsibilities and tasks that are required of a person to execute those duties and responsibilities. We're not talking very small town. We're talking about a town that has, and we'll get to water and sewer and the budgets for those and how important it is in our infrastructure. But when you look at the day-to-day management, it truly does require a person to be able to answer those questions for citizens when those come up. And that's what a town manager does, in short. So you want the sort of definition, the town manager is responsible for the resources, the operation, and the general conduct of affairs, the day-to-day affairs that happen. None of us on the select board are able to answer the phone, do emails from day to day. Can we do it? Yes, every other week when we have a select board meeting. But when you look at the veracity of what's been happening with floods, natural disasters, snow, all of those things that happen in a town, the requirements for FEMA, the requirements for VLCT, the requirements for budgeting, that is something that requires a person to execute day in and day out. The board advises and ensures that that person does it right. So to do away with a position completely is going to put that onus back on the board, okay? All of us, most of us have a business on the board, okay? We have other things. There's people in this town that I've asked and talked to person, would you volunteer to do something? And the answer is, I don't have time, okay? Well, for us, we don't have time either, but we're taking a little bit of time to do it. To put the onus of a town manager position and all the duties and responsibilities back on the board is putting a lot on it. So what is the board responsible for? Legislature, the admin, and the quasi-judicial. So we enact local ordinances. We have the regulations and policies that we enact. We can develop them, but we enact them. We are responsible for the budget, the approval of the budget, but someone has to create that budget. Someone has to go through and look at what's happened historically and into the future. We depend a lot on the individuals of the town, whether it's the road foreman, whether it's the road crew, whether it's the librarian, whether it's other people. They come to us, the fire department, and they say, I need, and here's why I need. But the town manager doesn't approve that. The board does. But the town manager ensures that it's nice and at least we can make sense of it. So that is my explanation, Mr. Donnellan, of the difference between a town manager and a select board. And I would ask the town to consider those when we look at this. Doing away with the position, okay, says a lot. There's no longer a town manager that we did hire, okay? That means that we did some lessons learned. Okay, not all decisions are right decisions. Sometimes you make a bad decision, and we've done that up here too. But we learn from it and we get better. And I think as a board and I think as a town, we are going to get better. But you have to give us that opportunity to get better. That's it.
All right, thank you. Craig, you had some comment? Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I watch the selectmen's meetings on YouTube. I don't know if anybody else does. You see how much work these people have to put into, and they always have an answer from the town manager. Even Noah, you know, a lot of people didn't like him, but he was a likable person, but he always got his job done. And he helped out the select board. And I asked Jean the other day, I said, why are you serving on this board? She said, who's going to do the job? Anybody here running for selectman? No, we got a selectman. Oh, and who's running? Who wants a job? Nobody. We're lucky we got volunteers like that. Well, you can run for office anytime you want. You just got to go up and get a petition.
Ms. Nelson, did you want to say something? Bring the mic over, so.
Is the position of a town administrative assistant still open? Does it still exist? The job that Joel used to have?
Kathy, the assistant position is not. The town administrator position is. And that's Mr. Joel Cope. And if you look at if you look at the annual report, it's to a nominal amount, actually. He puts in 20 hours at most, sometimes 10. So he gets paid for 10, but he puts in his own time as well. So the answer is no, there is no assistant, just a town administrator.
Well, maybe we should enhance that position and let him take over the duties that you were saying the town manager
had.
Well, I think that is a consideration, but first I think we have to figure out whether or not the town manager position itself is going to pass.
Survive.
All right.
If it does, then we can move on to
Then you
that
can
later.
go on to that.
Mr. Valencourt. Okay. Somebody else here, yeah.
We recently got a call from FEMA, and I'm going to let Michael Straight elaborate on that, but in order to get our funding, there's over 2 weeks worth of work involved in getting that funding, and we were late in putting it in because Noah had left and Mike had to take over, and we had to have photographs of all the damage, of all the culverts, all the roads. All those photographs had to be named, where it was, where this damage was. And he had to get all these pictures and work on it for 2 weeks in order to get FEMA the information so we can get our money. So I'm glad that Mike took the reins here for us, which was not part of his duties, but I'm really happy that he did, because we wouldn't be getting that funding from FEMA. So that's where the manager would have done this work. And they don't have time to do that. You take Jean, she can't take 2 weeks off to go do all that paperwork and categorize all the pictures and send it into the government. It's impossible for her. She doesn't have the time. So this is one case here where Mike came to our rescue, and hopefully we're going to get our money from FEMA. You want to
Thank you.
elaborate on any of that?
Did somebody else back here have a comment?
Yeah, I did.
Craig?
Last time we voted for a town manager was through Australian ballot, the next day at the regular
I can't understand you. What's that?
Australian ballot. Didn't we have that, like, when we voted in the last town manager? We did it right in the public forum.
Apparently not, she
Yes.
says.
We did it
And
in the
that's-
public forum.
It was
It
a
was
floor
floor
vote,
vote,
so
floor vote,
we have
yeah.
to vote it out as a floor vote or in. Yep.
All right, any questions or comments on that item to change the form of government in this town? Now is the time to speak up. Oh, Greg, yeah.
Another point of clarification, if we do away with the town manager, the select board takes over those responsibilities. We are a board of five, one member can make a decision. So your decisions are going to be put to the board, or our decisions are going to come every 2 weeks. So we definitely need a town manager. It's, for that. And to repeat it again, board members just don't have the time. I'm the only one that's retired. Business employed. Yeah, but you work.
Thank you.
Even beyond that, we don't necessarily, a lot of the things that the town manager does require special knowledge. We don't necessarily possess that knowledge. Add to it that with the regulations, we have to, anytime we are communicating, anytime we're trying to make a decision, it has to be a properly warned meeting. So you have a situation that comes up, you have to do a warning, we have to wait a minimum of certain number of hours so that we can get together and make a decision. The benefits of having a town manager able to make those decisions far outweigh any of the other options. In addition, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of technical stuff when it comes to running a town, and we are great to advise, but I don't think the day-to-day operations, we have that skills individually, or I mean, as a group, to just handle all those situations.
Any other comments on the thing? Yes. Hi.
Your microphone's coming.
Press the button on the bottom, yeah.
It's on the side of the bottom.
It's on the side of the bottom.
Okay, just Aaron Maseka, just to clarify, if this does get approved, what are we going to do differently to prevent the same thing from happening as far as hiring goes? Like, well, how do we avoid kind of the disaster that happened with our previous town manager? Is that an appropriate question in this forum? I don't know if that falls under the current.
So the question is, how do you hire somebody and hope that they stay forever?
Well, we are.
Or
gonna
meet the
do-
qualifications that we really
well,
want
we-
for the town.
We will
yeah.
take, we will take applications and we will look at their resumes and hopefully we get some and go from there. Go by the experience.
I think we've learned as a board, for those of us who've been on it and for any of those that are new, basically the management process of it and using resources for the advertising and hiring process as well is a valuable lesson we took out of this.
All right, item 10. Shall the voters of the town of Brighton rescind the town manager form of governance in accord with the provisions of Chapter 37 of Title 24? All those in favor of that motion?
Hold on, can we clarify, make sure everybody understands how the question is written negatively?
Yeah. What's your question? Yeah, if you get 7 people to agree with us, 6 more, you can do a paper ballot. We have 6 people that would rather have a paper ballot versus a voice vote. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, paper ballot. A vote of yes obviously means that the item passes, that there'll be no town manager. A vote of no means we go back to the old days with a town manager. Yeah, the item is shall the town rescind the town manager form. A vote of yes will pass it. A vote of no will defeat it. Are we clear on that?
To keep.
Well, it's not really, let me read it again. To be
If you
clear,
vote-
if you vote yes on item 10, there will be no town manager. Are we clear? If you vote yes, there'll be no town manager. If you vote no, then we will hire a town manager.
The key word in the sentence is rescind. So if you say yes to rescind, that means you are getting rid of the town manager position. Okay? Yes to rescind. That's what we're asking. Or no, I don't rescind the position, which means we will keep the town manager position. Keywords.
That's even more confusing.
I learned that at Brighton Elementary.
Okay, so I've got to mark it on here to know that they're registered voters before they vote.
And where were they gonna get the paper? So as you hand in your ballot, Teresa needs to mark you off as a voter, so we'll have to form a line like over at the Catholic Church on Sunday morning. Once you vote, you'll need to walk up here, please, and mark your ballot either yes or no. And you'll have to walk up here and place it in the ballot box. Yeah. Anybody, you can always use a pen right here and vote right here if you want. You can come up here and mark your vote with a pen if you want. You got him, right? Everybody gets one vote incidentally. I don't have any paper.
So Tara's bringing the paper around for those coming up. If you can please line up. You need to line up in a single file line. Teresa needs to check you off the voter registration before you drop your ballot into the bucket.
Again, a vote of yes defeats the position. Vote of no keeps the position.
See, this is what happens, is because they want it, because if they don't want it to pass, then they they don't want anybody to.
This guy wouldn't leave.
to show you my socks I have.
One vote will help you, what they say.
This shit. That's what they say, I swear. In front of my ball court.
Going backwards inside out, so you knew what it said. Or maybe I'll. Yeah, I put my thing in there.
I'm not going back.
Sarah's mother. Sarah's mother.
It says Harper's
Or
grandma.
Grammy. Harper, are you a town employee? What? Oh. What? Hey, what do you think of Brody? No? Is he a classmate of yours? No? Brody's not a classmate. No? Are you sure? Is he in your school? Yeah, is he cute? Somebody in my Get out of your room. Sorry.
Good job. Good job.
Legally, I should have stayed on the road. I never legally changed. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
I guess I get to vote too. Yeah, yeah, throw mine in. Really hot. In the sweat.
All I'm thinking is like a couple days. Yeah. It's like short, an hour here, an hour there.
Polls will be closing here in a minute, so probably going to take 20 minutes to count all these, maybe 10 minutes, so. So you got time to visit and.
God love you.
Teresa's calling last call for voting. Everybody's come up.
Yeah, that's like going on.
That's it, $51. Thank you. We have a vote on the item 10 on the town manager position. Item 10 is defeated with 51 noes against 28 yeses. So item 10 is defeated and passed on a paper ballot with the answer yes. Item 11, shall the voters authorize total fund expenditures for operating expenses of $2,298,633.32, of which $1,775,829.91 shall be raised by taxes, and $522,803.41 raised by non-revenue items. Does anybody move that to the floor for discussion? Craig Gillette, seconded by Mark Valencourt. All right, discussion of the budget, folks, which spans pages 9 through 16, pages 9 through 16 of your warning pamphlet. And now is the time to discuss line items, should you wish to do so, before we decide on the item. Any comments? Seeing none, we'll ask for a voice vote unless, yes, Mark. Okay. All those in favor of the budget as written and as stated by the moderator, item 11, signify by saying aye. Those opposed. Item 11 carries. It's marked here as item 11. It's obviously a typo. It's item 12, which is to transact any other non-binding business. Again, non-binding business that may legally come before this meeting. Anybody have any comments, questions? Yes, Craig.
All summer after the floods, our road crew did a heck of a job for the town. I want to congratulate them. Even though we're not working for the town yet, we wish them the best of luck in their due endeavors.
Good job by the town crew. Any other items to bring up before the meeting? Otherwise, we will entertain a motion to adjourn. Anybody make that motion? The motion is made by Doris and seconded by Mr. Valencourt. All those in favor signify by saying aye and leaving. Aye. Those opposed. Thank you for coming down.